Okay, welcome to Yerushalmi Megillah Daf Chav Hey. We're on the bottom, the very bottom of Daf Chav Daled Beis. Halacha Hey Zok Telig Mishnah Kol Kshem Kosas Megillah. Anybody can read the Megillah Chutz Mechei Shot V'Katan, other than a Chei Shot V'Katan. We'll see what kind of Chei we're talking about. Rabbi Yehuda Machshe V'Katan. Yehuda says, "Oh, a Katan is kosher l'Kriyas Megillah. Ein Karnas a Megillah." The real mitzvah of Kriyas Megillah, the same thing goes for Mila, Tfila, and spritzing the paraduma, the ephod of paraduma, v'chein shemeres yom keneged yom, that goes to the mikveh, nida, loy titpol ad sheton etzachama, that the tefillah should be done after nets. The kulon she'asu mishalam rashacha. However, if they did it mishalam rashacha, which is earlier, kosher, it's kosher, but that's not the optimum time to do it. So the Gemara. Hakol kshem l'krisas Megillah chutz me'cher rishot v'katan. Amar Rav Masan de Rabbi Yossi. This is actually Rabbi Yossi's shita. The fact that we have cherish mentioned over here. Amar Rabbi Yossi avinu savra meimam ma pligin. Rabbi Yossi, of course, they get us confused. Rabbi Yossi is quoting Rabbi Yossi and Hamachlekes Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan. So what are we talking about over here? Bishma, sorry. So this that says over here, and the Gemara assumes that when we say cherish over here, we're talking about a cherish that's medaber ve'enu shemea, because if he's ain't medaber either, what's there even to discuss about Kriyas Megillah? Very difficult to read the Megillah if he can't speak. So we're saying this is Rabbi Yossi Shita, who says that you're not a cherish that's medaber ve'enu shemea can be kored the Megillah. I'm sorry, it cannot be kored the Megillah. He's machmir versus the Rabbanon who hold that he could be kar. So we want to go with Rabbi Yossi. We're saying Rabbi Yossi. So I'm Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says, "Having the savra meima ma pligim Rabbi Yossi Rabbanon b'shma." The machlokes is by shma. No, there's a person who's a cherish can be moitzi others in kriya shema. Min ma and what? But why is the machlokes over there? The ksibot says shema. Hosha kol mitzvahs light. And since it says Shema, you have to hear. So a person can't hear, even though he can speak, but he can't hear. And don't forget, the cherish again could mean both. It could mean either somebody who speaks and can't hear, or a deaf mute as well. So we're saying since it says Shema, so Rabbi Yossi says over there he cannot be moitzi others in Kriya Shema because it says Shema and he can't hear. Hashak kol mitzvahs, but seemingly other mitzvahs that wouldn't be the case. Min ma the Rav Masna Amid Rabbi Yossi, but now the Rav Masna comes along and says that our Mishnah is Rabbi Yossi. He Hadamra. Not only does Rabbi Yossi argue that by Shema, he argues with the Chachamim. He says Hadoy Shema, he shakol mitzvahs, that whether Shema or other mitzvahs, in all cases, Rabbi Yossi says that if he is that if he's medaber in Shemeya, he cannot be moitzi others. Okay. Well, my time to be honest, where does he get it from? Why does he say that somebody, a cherish that's medaber and shmei, cannot be mighty others? Because he says, "V'zantel mitzvah." You have to listen to his mitzvahs, right? It quotes the pasuk, "Shma aznecha, masha picha medaber." Let your ears hear what your mouth is saying. So if your ears can't hear what your mouth is saying, you can't be mighty others. Fine. Rav Chisda less kan cherish. Rav Chisda says, no. The Mishnah is kedivra. Our Mishnah is kedivra kol. Cherish, when we're talking about cherish, we mean cherish like the normal sense of the way it was used in the Gemara, which is eine shemeh ve'ene medaber. Both. You'll say, what do you mean? That what's the have mean? How can he read the Megillah if he can't speak? So it says that's by shigras loshen masnita. That's just dragged into here because if you look in Shas, you see that who comes along with shait and cotton. Cherish is always listed together with shait and cotton. So it's b'shigras loshen, but really it's not part of it. It's obviously there's no chiddush over here because he can't read. Amr Rabbi Yosef, Mistabra Yoida Rav Chizda betrumas. That even though Rav Chizda, and he says Mistabra over here, notice he didn't hear Rav Chizda saying, so Mistabra Rav Chizda would agree, betrumas the Rav Yossi, that by truma, where a person, where a cherish cannot, or should not, I should say, bring truma, That Mishnah that addresses that, and we'll see why in a second, that's Rabbi Yossi. Also, Reb Chananya b'shem Reb Chizda, the Reb Yossi. He actually Reb Beferish, Reb Chizda Taka said he quote Reb Chananya quotes Reb Chizda Beferish saying that Mishnah in Trums is Taka Reb Yossi. So where is this? What are we talking about over here? So Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Bun al Korchach Adoma Dehid Rabbi Yossi. It has to be Rabbi Yossi. Why? The Taninon Chameshte Kadmaisa Veloy Taninsa Imhoin. We have the first over there in that Mishnah lists five people that in the ratio of that Mishnah lists five people that lo yitroimu, and it counts over there a cherish, but the cherish that's counted over there is the cherish she'ena shemeya ve'ena medaber, and it says he cannot bring truma. Now, the so you'll say, well, maybe the reason that we don't list the cherish that's medaber ve'ena shemeya, why is he not listed in the ratio? So you'll say because in the ratio it's imishum she'ein truma truma. They can't bring truma at all, flat out. It's when we list those five cases in the Mishnah. Those five cases are people cannot bring truma. Period. Even b'diavad. Um, However, right, a cherish that's medaber ve'ena shemeya, he could bring like Atchila shouldn't bring, but b'diavad he could bring truma. But he says but if you look in the Sefer and Hotaninon, that's the correct here. Says Hotanin chamishtach raisa, v'lo tanin simon either. But if you look at the last five, where it says over there, last five lo yitroimu and tomu trumas and trum. In other words, lekatchila they shouldn't bring the Mishnah. So in the Sefer the Mishnah lists you five cases of people who should lekatchila not bring, but if they brought truma, fine trumas and truma. And again, the cherish that's medaber and shemeya is not listed with them either. It's listed separately, right? So it must be have a seifach mema the Rebbe Yossi. So therefore, we're forced to say um, that in Trumas over there in that Mishnah. So since it's coming, the cherish that's medaber and shemeya comes in its own case, it must be because the Rabbanan argue on Rabbi Yossi and Rabbanan hold that cherish that's medaber and shemeya could bring lekatchila even. Rabbi Yossi is the one who holds lekatchila can't bring. So therefore, the Mishnah over there is Rabbi Yossi over there that addresses cherish that's medaber and shemeya is tak Rabbi Yossi. And we'll say as opposed to over here where we can get away with saying it's either everybody, but it doesn't have to be. We don't have to go to sheet that our Mishnah is only Reb Yossi, right? Now we had said Rabbi Yehuda Makshib cotton that even a cotton could do Kriyas Megillah, and we might see others. And Rabbi Yehuda cotton Yisir Karite Lefnei Rabbi Tarfon Belut says whatever Rabbi Yehuda says I was a cotton and I read it in front of Rabbi Tarfon. So I'm like they said to him, nice try, but cotton Yisir Vein Edus the cotton. So we can't believe what you we can't believe you on that because you were cotton at the time and that caused you to be an aid. Amar Rebbe Maisa Shekarite Lifnei Rabbi Yehuda be'usha that I read the Megillah in front of Yehuda be'usha. Amrullah so here they gave him a different teretz, and they said to him Ein Zurayo Shehu Mate because you said your friend Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is the one who says he's machshe bekotten, so that's not a raya that's the halacha, and so that's yochid. So the Bavli has a similar sugya, and the Bavli over there says, "Oh, why couldn't they give the same teretz? They just Lakatna could have said the same thing to Rabbi." So he says over there because it's zuvoidache. In other words, giving you another teretz, but enachanami. That's true. It was a cotton toe. Okay. Zukt, and there's a question I had to learn this coming up line. I'll just do it with Frank Kanievsky. Mikan vehelech nogu ram lekroisa basic knesses, and that actually it somehow became the minute that Ketanim do read the Megillah in shul, even in public. They read it. The Carbonator says the pshat over here is that once it became a minhag to read it in public, so you don't allow ketanim to read it to be mitzi others. Maybe say I'll cover he says I'll cover the tzibur. The Carbonator says. Okay, they have two pshat with that. Baka param tzarich lekreis lefnei noshim lefnei ketanim shafei mo yibesofik. Bakbara says that even women and children like we're like today have to hit a Megillah because they were also besafik nefashis. They could have been killed. Rabbi Shua ben Levi, in other words, they were also Bechlal in that nest. Rabbi Shua ben Levi of at Cain, Michna, and he taka did this, and Michna Shabbanoi, he Obnei Beise, he got together all his kids and his whole family, the Karle Kame, and he read the Megillah in front of them like we do today. Fine. We said Ein Kos Megillah Shetzon Etzachem, or the Ksiv says B'yoyim, Asher Sivru Oy Ve'Yehudim Lishloit Bohem. Right, so the pasuk says biyom during the day, so that's the mitzvah to do it during the day. V'loy moilin also the ksiv biyom you don't do mila. Why? The ksiv says biyom hashmini yom b'sar so again it's got to be done during the day. V'loy toivlin the ksiv he's of a tavel ma'azoya biyom av tefila biyom. Well, this is very nice, but Minan Shazai B'yom, how do you know Azai is even during the day? So it's like Sivi, he's Atar Latame by Yom Hashlishi. So there you go, it's got to be by Yom on the third day. Kol Mechuvit Tfilas Toivlin Kidarkan B'yom. So now the Gemara goes on to say that any time someone's mechuv to do tefillah, he does it during the day. Chutzman and nida v'yeledis, besides a nida yeledis, shein toivlas el b'layla. A nida and yeledis toivel at night. Now, the reason a nida is toivel at night is because she has to wait 7 complete days. So she waits 7 complete days. So the first opportunity she has when the day is completed is at night. So therefore, she goes to the mikveh at night, and the Yoledis is learned from a Nida that she also goes at night because it says in the pasuk, "Kimei Nidas the Roisa Titma." Fine. Nida, however, Nida Sheba's man, if for some reason she didn't end up going to the mikveh on the seventh day, then Teves B'miyam Malaj, she can go whenever she wants. Dosha B'chia Bar Rablet Sarai, so he dashed this in public. Nida Sheba Zmano, Teves B'miyam Malayla. Tamanom, they said in Bavel, Afilu Ibas Manoi Loi. No, that even if it's Ibas Mani, the Nida should still go at night. Why? Pnei Chamoisa, Pnei Kalasa. Because of her mother-in-law, because of her daughter-in-law. So, at least according to Chaim Kanievsky, it's because they may see her and they'll think either it'll be chaysha that she's doing the wrong thing, she's going at the wrong time, she's going in the middle of the day, when the mitzvah is to go at night, or they might say or they'll say it's mutter, must be you can go even during the day, and they'll come to go on the day of the 7th maybe. So therefore, even when she's if for whatever reason she missed going the 7th, she should still go at night. And the Gemara actually brings a case. Isha achas mishal beis Rabbi Seinu roi setavels kedarka beyoyim. They so go during the day. So Gemara says, no, it has to be muberes man havis. It must have been that she missed the time, and that's why she was going during the day, because for whatever reason she didn't go on the 7th, so she was going some day past that, and then you can go during the day. Okay, neither shenen savatavla, and those of you who are following in the machzor of the Bavli, of the Daf Yomi, the Bavli, so you know we just had this on Daf Lamed Aleph in Chulin. Neither shenensa with different the shitas they're different, the names they're different. So neither shenensa v'tavla. So neither shenensa v'tavla. Let's say she fell off. She was walking over the bridge and she fell off the bridge. And what do you know? She hadn't been neither, and she taveled. And she fell into the water. So Rab Shimi b'Shem Rav toher leveisa tmeila taharis. So Rab Shimi b'Shem Rav says that she's toher leveisa because that doesn't require any kavana. So by default, she fell into a mikveh. Great, okay. So now she's tahar for her husband. But tmeila taharis, because taharis requires, and this is actually why the sugi is brought in Chulin, requires kavana for taharis. Rabbi Lezer b'Shem Reb Chanina Tameya bein lebeisa bein letaharis. No, he holds that tefillah needs kavana, whether it's for a husband for chulin or whether it's for taharis. Ma taima. So why do we or why is he saying that that it requires kavana? It says v'chubas shenis v'tar. Right by Mitzvah it says v'chubas shenis v'tar. So the question is, why does it have to say v'chubas shenis? If you look in the pasuk actually says it says. So you already told me Ashetechabes, so that's once, right? And then you tell me V'chubas, I don't have to tell me Shenis. I know it's obviously Shenis, so it must be we're comparing the second one to the first one. Mari Shoina was Ladas, because it says V'tziva Kayin, so it's Ladas of the Kayin. Afashni has to be Ladas, so if you don't do Ladas, so it doesn't help anything. Minayin Shev Shoina Ladas, okay, like I just said, it says V'tziva Kayin V'chipsa Ladas. So now, afraid the Gemara. So why we're bringing in this whole thing with Nida Shenensa, other than that, it's a cute thing we can say that we had just had the Bavli. So bring it in because we're discussing tefillah. Maybe that's why the Gemara is bringing it in. Okay. Banan freit the Gemara, "Banan chami rabbanan mekabel leibura." We see that an Iberis, again, we're going to go with Chaim Kanievsky's pshat over here, that a Iberis Zman, in other words, she missed the day. She goes during the day. Why does she go during the day? Yeah, we have a reason to be chashet, and maybe she should go during the day because people might think that Anita can go to the mikveh even on the day of the seventh. So Reb Nachman Shemamona, mitzvah lahaktin kedei l'zayis mitzvahs. No, the mitzvah is that as soon as you have an opportunity to do the mitzvah, you do it right away. I maybe people might think doing the wrong thing. Okay, but there's an Indian to be mezares mitzvahs. Okay, wonderful.